Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of English Broadcast Studio. If you're about to embark on a journey, either for business or leisure, today's video is just for you. Airports can be overwhelming, especially if you're flying internationally or navigating a busy terminal. But don't worry. In today's video, we'll teach you some essential phrases you need to know to navigate airports with ease and confidence.
That's right, Ajaz. Whether it's checking in, going through security, or asking for directions, these phrases will make your airport experience much smoother. After all, traveling should be about the experience of the adventure, not stressing over language barriers. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into some essential English airport usage.
Exactly. We'll guide you through different parts of your airport journey, step by step, with all the phrases you need to know. By the end of this video, you'll feel more confident and ready to handle anything at the airport. Let's get started. The very first step when you arrive at the airport is checking in. Fahim, can you remind our viewers what they need to say when they get to the check-in counter?
Of course. When you approach the check-in desk, you can greet the agent and say, "Hi, I'm here to check in for my flight to destination." Don't forget to mention the destination or the flight number to make it easier for the agent.
That's great. And if you've already checked in online and just need to drop your bags off, you can simply say, "I've already checked in online. I just need to drop my bags off."
Perfect. After you check in, you'll receive your boarding pass. Now let's move on to security. The security check is one of the most crucial parts of your airport experience, so knowing what to say here is essential.
That's right. When you approach the security checkpoint, the security officer will likely ask you to show your boarding pass and ID. You can say, "Here's my boarding pass and ID."
And don't forget, you may be asked to take off your shoes, belt, or anything else with metal. If you're carrying liquids, they might ask you to place them in a tray. You can say, "Do I need to remove my shoes or belt?" Or, "Where do I place my liquids?"
It's always good to be prepared. Once you clear security, it's time to find your gate. You might need to ask for directions. Fahim, what's a polite way to ask someone for help?
You can ask, "Excuse me, could you please tell me where gate number is?" Or, "Where can I find the airline counter?" Always use "excuse me" at the beginning. It's polite and respectful.
Good tip. Now, once you've found your gate, you'll need to wait for the boarding announcement. While waiting, it's common to hear various announcements over the loudspeaker. But if you're unsure about something, feel free to ask. You can say, "Excuse me, what time is the boarding for my flight?"
And when it's finally time to board, you might hear the staff call for different groups. It's important to listen closely. If you're not sure when your group is called, you can always ask, "Excuse me, which group is boarding right now?"
And when you finally step onto the plane, you'll need to know how to find your seat. Typically, the flight attendants will ask you for your seat number, so you can simply say, "I'm in seat number."
And once you're seated, you may need to ask for assistance. A polite way to do so is by saying, "Excuse me, could I get some water?" Or, "Could you help me with the overhead compartment?" Always remember to be polite.
Exactly. The last thing to keep in mind when flying is your arrival at the destination airport. Once you land, you'll need to get through immigration and customs. At the immigration desk, they'll usually ask you about the purpose of your visit.
Yes, they might ask, "What is the purpose of your visit?" Or, "How long do you plan to stay?" Be ready to answer clearly, and don't forget to have your passport, visa if needed, and any other necessary documents ready.
Once you've cleared immigration, you'll head to baggage claim. This can sometimes be a bit confusing, especially if you're in a large airport. So, Fahim, what should you say if you can't find your luggage?
That's an important question, Ijaz. If your luggage doesn't show up at baggage claim, you can approach the staff and say, "Excuse me, my luggage hasn't arrived. Can you help me locate it?" If they need more details, they might ask for your baggage claim ticket or any specific identifying features of your luggage, so always keep that handy.
Great advice. Now, once you have your luggage, it's time to head out of the airport. But before you leave, you may need to arrange for transportation. If you're taking a taxi, for example, you can approach the taxi stand and ask, how much is it to get to destination? Or can you take me to destination?
That's right, Ijaz. If you're taking public transportation, like a bus or train, you might ask, where can I buy tickets for the bus to destination? Or which platform does the train to destination depart from? Again, using excuse me at the beginning of your questions shows courtesy.
It's always good to have a few transportation phrases ready to go, especially if you're visiting a country where the language is unfamiliar.
But don't worry, even if you don't speak the local language fluently, English is often widely understood in international airports.
Absolutely. And if you're unsure about something, feel free to ask. You can always say, sorry, I don't speak language, but do you speak English? Most people will be happy to help you if they can understand you.
Now, let's talk about a few more tips that will help travelers in any airport. First, always be mindful of your surroundings. If you need to ask for help, approach airport staff or fellow passengers politely.
That's important, Fahim. You can also keep an eye on the monitors around the airport for updates about your flight. If your flight is delayed or changed, the information will usually be displayed there.
If there's a delay, don't panic. You can ask an airport staff member, has there been an update on my flight, or do you know when my flight will be boarding?
And while waiting, it's always a good idea to find a comfortable spot near your gate. If you need to leave the gate area for any reason, be sure to return well in advance of your boarding time. You wouldn't want to miss your flight.
Right. It's always best to stay close to your gate, especially when it gets closer to boarding time. Now, let's talk about a few food and drinks. Airports often have a variety of dining options, and sometimes it can be hard to know what to order. Fahim, what's a good way to order food or drinks at an airport?
Well, at most airport restaurants or cafes, you can simply say, I'd like to order, item, please. For example, if you're ordering coffee, you could say, I'll have a coffee with milk, please. Always use please and thank you to be polite.
And if you're unsure about something on the menu, you can ask, could you recommend something, or what's the most popular item here? This will help you make an informed decision, especially if you're in a country where the food might be unfamiliar.
Good point. And if you're in a hurry and need to grab something quickly, you can simply say, can I get this to go? Or can I take it with me? Most places will accommodate that request.
If you're on the go and need to grab a snack or a drink before your flight, it's also common to use self-checkout machines at many airports. In this case, you could say, where can I find the self-checkout? Or, is there a vending machine nearby?
And don't forget about currency exchange. If you need to exchange money at the airport, you can approach a currency exchange booth and ask, what's the exchange rate for currency? Or, could you help me exchange my money?
Great reminder. Whether you're exchanging money or withdrawing cash from an ATM, it's always useful to know how to ask for help in these situations.
Exactly. Now, let's briefly talk about a few common phrases that will help you at the airport regardless of where you are in the process. Phrases like, can you point me in the right direction? Or, I'm looking for the name of service will be helpful in guiding you through the airport.
Yes, these phrases will definitely help you in any situation. And always remember to smile. A friendly attitude goes a long way, and you'll likely find people more willing to help you.
Now that we've covered a lot of essential phrases for navigating the airport, let's dive into some specific scenarios that might arise during your travel experience.
Yes, Ajaz. One of the most common things you might encounter is a delay or a canceled flight. These situations can be frustrating, but knowing how to handle them with the right phrases will help reduce stress. If your flight is delayed, you can approach the airline counter and ask, could you tell me when the next update will be for my flight? Or how long is the delay expected to last?
And if your flight gets canceled, it's important to stay calm. A good question to ask would be, what are my options for rebooking on the next available flight? You might also need to ask about accommodations if you're stranded overnight. In this case, you can ask, are there any hotels nearby where I can stay? Or do you provide any hotel accommodations due to the cancellation?
Yes, it's always good to know your rights and what assistance the airline can offer. If you're uncertain about the situation, you can also ask, Could you please help me understand what compensation is available for this cancellation? Be sure to ask for any vouchers or meal allowances that you may be entitled to.
It's a good point to note that when traveling internationally, the airline staff might ask you questions about your arrival and what you plan to do in the country. For example, you might be asked, do you have a return ticket, or where will you be staying? Having the answers ready will make the process smoother.
Exactly, Ajez. Another situation you might encounter at the airport is if you're traveling with a special need or have extra luggage. For example, if you're traveling with a pet, you can approach the check-in desk and ask, I need to check in my pet. What are the procedures for traveling with animals? Or where do I drop off my pet for travel?
For travelers with extra luggage, you can ask, how much is the additional baggage fee? Or what is the weight limit for checked luggage? If you have oversized items like a musical instrument or sports equipment, be sure to inquire early. Do you accept musical instruments as checked baggage? Or where can I check in my item?
Let's not forget about duty-free shopping, which is a big part of airport experiences. If you're interested in purchasing items in the duty-free shop, you can ask, where is the duty-free shop? Or do I need to show my boarding pass to purchase from duty-free? Most airports have duty-free shops that offer a variety of products from perfume to electronics.
Ah, yes, the shopping experience at airports can be quite an adventure. Another thing that comes to mind is when you need to charge your phone or electronic devices. If you're in a hurry, you can ask, are there any charging stations nearby? Or where can I charge my phone?
Speaking of electronics, you may also need to ask about the Wi-Fi services in the airport. You could ask, do you offer free Wi-Fi here? Or how can I connect to the Wi-Fi? Many airports provide free or paid Wi-Fi, so knowing how to ask will save you time and help you stay connected.
Now, for anyone who likes to stay on top of their plans, let's talk about airport lounges. These can be a great place to relax while you wait for your flight. If you want to access the lounge, you can say, how can I access the lounge? Or, is the lounge available to all passengers, or do I need a membership? Some lounges allow you to buy a pass for a day.
And if you're on a long layover, you might need to know where you can rest or even take a shower. You could ask, is there a place where I can rest during my layover? Or do you have shower facilities available for passengers? Many airports provide such amenities, so it's always worth asking.
That's a great point, Fahim. For those of you who are traveling with young children, airports often have family rooms or play areas. If you need assistance finding one, you could ask, where's the family room? Or is there a play area for children? This can be a lifesaver, especially on long-haul flights.
That's definitely something many parents would appreciate. And let's not forget the importance of knowing where to find essential services like restrooms. If you're not sure where to find the restroom, you can simply ask, where are the restrooms? Or can you tell me where the nearest bathroom is? Simple, but very helpful.
Absolutely. It's also a good idea to ask about emergency services, just in case. If you lose something or need assistance, you can ask, where is the lost and found? Or is there an emergency medical service in the airport?
And as a final tip, always make sure you know the airport's opening hours and policies before you travel. You can ask, what time does the airport open? Or is the airport open 24 hours, especially if you're catching an early morning or late night flight?
Fahim, you've given us some really great insights today. It's clear that a little preparation can make your airport experience much more manageable.
Thanks, Ajaz. And I hope these phrases will help all of you traveling soon. Airports can be a bit overwhelming, but with the right knowledge, you'll feel much more confident.
So, whether you're flying domestically or internationally, be sure to keep these phrases handy. And remember, being polite and respectful will get you a long way.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Safe travels, and we'll see you in the next video. If you found this helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow travelers.
And don't forget to leave us a comment below with any travel tips or phrases you think are essential. Until next time, this is Ajaz and the Fahim signing off from English Broadcast Studio.